Do you have a book to read? And it was a great question because we were catching a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Zurich, Switzerland. And it was about a 10-hour flight. And my husband knows that I'm not one to watch TV on the airplane. I don't really listen to headphones or anything like that. I usually just read. So he's asking, do you have a book? Because I'm in for a 10-hour flight. And I said, no. Today I'm up for surprises and I'm going to do something a little bit different. And he said, what are you going to read? Like, what are you doing today? And I said, I'm going to go through a stack, this great big stack of notebooks. Now, many of you have notebooks like this, and you probably haven't gone through them in a while. And if you're like me and you're a small business owner and you've been running your own business for 30 years, you might have boxes, even a library of these kind of 3-ring binders. I know this was true for me. Now, the reason it's true for me is because I am a prolific note taker. So every time, in fact, all the time, in front of me, there's a spiral binder. And as something pops into my head, I make a note. And then as I do that I cross it off my list. And so as soon as the day is over, I have 5, 6, 7 sheets from every single day, things that I was supposed to do, reminders to myself, things that need to be outsourced or delegated to someone else on my team. So here I was headed to Switzerland, and I had a great big suitcase full of these old binders. And he said, why are you taking those on this trip? Are you going to use them? And I said, no, I'm not. But I've been procrastinating going through them for 30 years. And here's the reason why. We all procrastinate for different reasons, and they're all valid reasons, I'm sure. But for me, each of these notebooks represented a part of my life. And inside these pages are old notes, things that I was going to do, things that I wanted to do. Maybe they were goals, maybe they were ambitions, maybe they were things that I was going to purchase but couldn't quite afford yet. And so then as later in my life, when I was able to achieve those things, then I crossed them off. Sadly, there are boxes of books that never got crossed off. So I said to myself, if I pack these up in my suitcase will be full. I will read these on the plane and I will cross out everything that does not pertain to my current life right now. This information cannot be duplicated or replicated anywhere else on the internet. These might be my prized thoughts. Like, I don't know, maybe I have some prized thoughts that are unlike anyone else's. I don't know. But if these are not ideas that can be replicated or duplicated somewhere else, I'm going to cross them off. When I get to the first airport on the other side, I'm going to toss whatever it is I'm not carrying with me. I'm not going to be carrying around a great big suitcase full of old binders in Switzerland, okay? But then I will be coming back with an empty suitcase. So I decided for me, I'm going to end the procrastination right now, right here, because technology has changed and so have I. So what I did is I sat on the plane for 10 hours and I read every page of my notebooks. And as I went through, I just crossed them off, cross. And what's interesting is there were some things that I was going to do in my business. And if they were important things, like I need to learn search engine optimization, for example, it would keep coming up again and again throughout the notebooks. And as I was reading them over and over again, I started to highlight moments where I said, okay, now I've learned part of the SEO, and now I'm going to learn other parts of the SEO. And so I could see the progression through the books. And I crossed them off because once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. And so now that I'm older in my business, I've learned search engine optimization, which is really cool, but I no longer need those notes to remind me. So for years, I had been putting off going through my notes because to me, it was really valuable information that couldn't be duplicated or replicated anywhere else, right? Wrong. I got to the first airport on the other side and had a great big old chunk of books and I just chuffed them in the trash. And he's like, what? You're getting rid of those? I was like, I no longer need them. I either know the information or I can now find it quicker on the internet. Here's what they don't tell you in note-taking school. If I need something that's inside any of these notebooks, how on earth is it indexed? And the answer is, it's not. It's not indexed. I couldn't find it. I would have to literally go through every single page, reading every single note to try to find the one little gem that I needed to make the next thing happen on my list, right? So it wasn't an effective way of keeping notes at all. So I was really happy then to get rid of lots of the notebooks. Now, I have a great big closet full of the notebooks, and I've been going through them one by one. So if I have any time at all, I've got a stack of them in my car. If I'm waiting and I'm a passenger, because I usually ride, I usually don't drive anymore. But as I'm a passenger, I sit there and I go through the notes and I toss them at the next stop. because I promise it's not like private information or anything. It's just, weird notes, buy something at the grocery store or a doctor's appointment, or learn this or learn that or whatever. Just weird notes that don't mean anything to anyone except me. And they don't mean anything to me now.